And feel free, I get settled into this, to take a moment and maybe play around with any range of motion that you know might feel good. So if a child's pose will feel good, if a Cobra will feel good, maybe a spinal twist or a cat and cow. Take a few moments just to kind of find your breath, get settled into that initial kind of range of motion. And like I said, if you want to have a blanket or a pillow or something like that, please feel free to do so. Alrighty. Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your Wednesday morning, early afternoon with me. As we get moving, like I said, we have kind of a high intensity flow today. I've got some pretty basic movements, but put together in a way that should be challenging. With that being said, as always, this is your practice. So if anything gets a little bit more challenging than you'd like it to be today, if anything gets uncomfortable, please feel free to step that back, take a moment, maybe rather than the range of motion that we're moving through, just holding the pose that we began that flow in, and you know, do what's smart for you in this practice today as we move into it. First and foremost, coming into that hands and knees position. So if you're finding one of those initial ranges of motion, taking that moment to bring it back to that hands and knees, bringing the knees right underneath the hips, bringing the wrists either right underneath the shoulders, or if it feels a little bit more comfortable, you can take them out just right in front of the shoulders to make it a little bit less of a drastic range of motion for those wrists while we get started here. And I just wanted to start, even though we're in a little bit different of a position, with our scan of the body, and starting maybe from the fingertips in contact with the mat, and allowing that scan today to travel up through the arms, the shoulders, up to the top of the head and the neck, and then down through the spine to the tailbone, through the legs into the knees, and down to the tips of your toes. As always, the scan is without any judgment. So taking this moment to just really notice where you're at, especially in this little bit of a different position. If this puts a little bit of extra strain on the shoulders, noticing where that's at, allowing the shoulder blades to come apart. This puts a little extra strain on the knees or the wrists, making any small adjustments that might help there. From here, we're going to go right into our cat and cow and connect our breathing to our range of motion. So with your next inhale, I want you to drop the belly towards the floor, lift those hips, possibly lift that chin if it feels good. With your exhale, we're rounding the spine up towards the ceiling, tucking the pelvis underneath, and maybe tucking that chin in towards the chest. From here, as usual, I want you to start out kind of at a pace that feels right for you. So if you move a little faster or slower than me with that range of motion, with that breath, please feel free to continue doing so. And once again, find that pace that works best for you. A couple times through this cat and cow, just starting off nice and easy, really small range of motion. Let's take two more nice deep breaths in that cat and cow, so twice more in each direction here. When you finish that second one, just bringing that spine back to a nice neutral position. We're going to go right into our lateral range of motion from there. So similar to how we do lateral bends from our seated position, we're going to move the spine a little bit side to side. With your next inhale, I want you to find that super long spine, really thinking about extending from the top of the head to the tailbone. With your exhale, I want you to turn that chin over that right shoulder, and then bring that right hip up towards your gaze. So we're shortening the right side of the body, we're lengthening the left side of the body. I want to start this one as a little bit of a flow. So with each inhale, go ahead, bring it through center, just as you might from seated. And with each exhale, bending towards that other side, looking over that opposite shoulder, bringing that hip up. Now this might for you be a very small range of motion. Maybe it's a little bit larger of a range of motion, and that's okay, wherever you're at with that lateral spinal mobility today. Once again, just kind of getting warmed up and started and ready to go. Inhales bring us through center. Exhales bend us side to side. At the end of this one, we'll find a little hold. So just keep flowing here a couple more times each direction. Fabulous. Give me one more time in each direction. So twice or three times more, depending on how is best for you to even up. And then just bring it right back to center, nice and neutral. We'll go into that little bit of a hold. So the following time, we're going to bring it over to that right side. So looking over that right shoulder, pulling that right hip up. Now this is already kind of super intense for you. I invite you to just stay right here. If you want to take that intensity up, we can add that leg. So we're looking over that right shoulder. So we're going to take that left leg out long as if we were going to bring it into a plank. So curling that toe under. From there, we're going to step the left leg around behind that right leg. So to the outside of that right leg, and then just let those toes meet the mat. So they don't need to float up nice and high, just let them rest down. But we're just intensifying by opening that hip towards that left wall a little bit more and closing the gap a little bit more on that right side. Now from here, again, if this is super intense, keep that leg right where it is, keep that arm right where it is. If you want to intensify even more, we're gonna lengthen all the way through that right or that left side, taking our left hand and stepping it around to the outside of that right hand. So kind of making a super long line from those left fingertips all the way around the outside of the body to those left toes. If this is too intense, keep that left hand right where it was, underneath that shoulder. If that leg was still too intense, again, you can come back to that neutral position. Now from here, we're just going to change directions. So bringing that hand back around, bringing that knee back underneath the hip, bringing the spine back to neutral, and then looking over that left shoulder, pulling that left hip up. Same thing, you can stay right here if this is intense enough for you today. You can take that right leg, step it out long as if it was going into a plank, and then bring it around to the outside of that left leg. Once again, take that moment to scan the body, see how that feels, and then that right hand can step around to the outside of that left if you want that little bit of extra intensity. Again, making that super long line from those right fingertips on the outside of that left arm, all the way around the body to those right toes down in contact with the floor. Next exhale just releases us back to center. So releasing the arm, releasing the knee, and then we're just gonna sit back and take a little pressure off those wrists for a moment and get them warmed up because we do have a lot of work on our wrists. So sitting back just slightly, I want you to just start with a couple of rolls of those wrists. Just choose a direction, in or out, either way is fabulous. Taking a couple of ranges of motion, little rolls, and then change directions. So if you were taking them to the outside, take them to the inside, and vice versa. One more time, go ahead, change directions, take them that first direction one more time. And then that second direction one more time. Fabulous. From here, we're gonna take those right fingertips, we're gonna pull them up just slightly towards the right forearm, and then down and through, pull them down towards that right elbow underneath. Just once or twice back and forth here on that right arm, nice and easy, not pressing that range of motion to a painful place, but just starting to get the wrist warmed up a little bit. Same thing on that other side, pressing it up, and then bringing it down and through, left arm towards the forearm, and then down underneath towards the elbow. Same thing, once you've done that just a few times, all we're gonna do is take that range of motion to the mat. So I'm just gonna sit slightly forward. I'm gonna do one arm at a time so I don't have all of my pressure on the back of my wrist. So I'm gonna start with my right arm, pressing those fingertips into the mat, just shifting the shoulder slightly out over those fingertips. And then as I come back, I'm gonna flip the top of my hand to meet the mat and press just slightly backwards. So this is, again, a really small range of motion. No pain should be felt in this, maybe just a stretch. And then one more time in each direction, pressing those fingertips down, shifting the shoulder out. And then same thing in that other side, pressing the top of that hand to the mat. If you can keep that wrist down and just press slightly back. Same thing on that second side. Last little wrist warm up here, and then we will get moving. So same thing, those left fingertips come down, we shift that shoulder out just slightly. Same thing, we turn the top of the hand to meet the mat, press back if you can, just slightly. Again, no pain in that range of motion, I know that's a tough one. And then same thing, one more time on each side of that hand, pressing the shoulder forward, and then flipping it and pressing backwards. All right, now again, if that was super intense, take a moment, roll out those wrists, give them a second, and then we'll meet back at that hands and knees position. Alrighty, feel free to grab a sip of your beverage before we get moving here. We're gonna move just a few times into our child's pose to Cobra range of motion. So just pressing those hips back, finding that stretch of the lower back, and then pressing those hips forward into that Cobra. If you stop to grab that sip of that beverage, take your time, finish it up, and then join us here when you're ready. We'll take a few moments in this. Moving nice and easy, front to back. If you need a little hold in either one of those, feel free to take that hold. If that Cobra is super intense, feel free to those elbows and bring it down to your baby Cobra. Fabulous. All right, let's take it right back to that hands and knees now. Taking those knees underneath those hips, those wrists, either right into those shoulders or out in front. We're gonna work in sets of 3 today. So if we do a dual-sided movement, we'll do 3 on each side. If we do a single-sided movement, we'll do 3 on each side. If we do a dual-sided movement, we'll do 3 total for each flow that we move through. We're gonna start off with bird dogs. We're gonna do 3 bird dogs on each side. So starting with that right hand and that left knee, we're inhaling to extend nice and long. We're exhaling to pull the elbow and knee towards each other. Now, if you're a little off balance, you can always set down. 3 of those on that right side. And then when you finish those first 3, just switching right over to that left side. So left arm and right leg, same thing, taking it nice and long. We should be opposite on arm and leg, 3 on that second side. When you finish that third, just go ahead and set it right down or right in the center of that mat, getting ready to move on. Next, we're gonna move up into our bear pose. Curl those toes under, lift those knees about 3 inches up off of that mat. A little bit of a hover, warming up that core. From here, we're gonna take it out into our plank and then back into our bear 3 times. So stepping those feet back nice and long into that plank and then back forward into that bear. That's 1, we've got 2 more. Trying to keep those knees floating, but feel free to set them down if that feels a little bit better. Third time, all the way out, all the way in. Take just a brief rest. So knees come down just briefly. Let the pressure off of those wrists just briefly. And then we're stepping right back out to our plank. Taking it back to our core work. We've got shoulder taps next. Take those feet a little wider than those hips. Shoulder taps, we've got 3 on each side. So we're gonna take that right arm to that left shoulder. 1, we've got 6 total. 2, 3, try to keep those hips nice and even. 5, and 6. When you finish that, we've got 6 mountain climbers. Knee between those elbows and back out. 6 total. 2, 3. Nice and controlled here. 4, 5, and 6. And then when you're done with those 6, press those hips up and back into our downward facing dog. Taking a little pressure off that core. Maybe take a moment to pedal out those heels. Check out how those wrists are feeling here. All right, fabulous. We're gonna move into a little bit of lower body work up next. So let's take that 3-legged dog with that right foot up and back nice and long. Bend the left knee and sweep that right foot forward, planting it down. When you get there, let's just take a really brief stretch in each direction. Set that back knee down. Exhale, press forward, nice hip flexor stretch. Inhale, press backwards, hamstring stretch. And then we're just gonna come back to our nice neutral where we can take it up into our crescent lunge. So nice and easy, curl that left toe under, lift that knee, sweep those arms up. When you get there, take a moment, find your balance, see where you're at. If you need to set that left knee down once again, please feel free to. From here, we're gonna do our lengthen and lowers. We've got 3 of them. So as we inhale, we're gonna lengthen up. As we exhale, we're gonna lower down. Feel free to cactus those arms if that feels good, open through that chest. 2 more, inhale, lengthens up. Exhale, lowers down. And then inhale, lengthens up, and exhale, lowers down. Fabulous. When you get to the bottom, we're lengthening those arms. We've got 1 more lower body work here. We're gonna do kind of a runner's lunge, a higher intensity. I'm gonna hinge just slightly forward at those hips and take a little bit more of my pressure onto my front leg so that I can balance on it. And we're gonna pull the left knee up towards the elbows and then extend back out. So right like this, in and then back out. Take it as controlled as you can, but if you need to move a little faster for that balance's sake, please feel free to. There's 2, and then we've got that third one. When you finish, torso comes up nice and tall. We're almost done with that work on that right leg. We're gonna counter twist. So where we would normally come to our warrior 2, we're gonna take it to the opposite. So our left arm comes forward, our right arm comes back. If you can't get all the way there, feel free to take it at that 45-degree angle. Left hand is gonna come down to the mat. So we're in our spinal twist. And then right arm's gonna come down to meet it. We're in that low lunge. Let's take it to that downward facing dog. Right foot goes back to meet the left. Fabulous. From here, we've got a little bit more upper body work. We're gonna finish each round with our push-ups. So take those shoulders out over those wrists. Toes or knees, we've got 3 push-ups. Here we go. Our exhale presses us up off that mat. 3, 2, and 1. When you're finished, we're gonna move back into that child's pose to Cobra flow. So set those knees down, press the hips back towards the heels, and then press forward into that Cobra or baby Cobra. So nice and easy, As soon as you finish those push-ups in each round, whether you move a little faster or slower, we'll move just right back into that child's pose to Cobra. We'll take a few moments. This is kind of our recovery here. So if you need that extra second, you need to just sit back into your child's pose or grab a sip, please feel free. All righty, with your next transition, we're gonna pause at that hands and knees. We're going right back into it. So take that moment, bring it back to your hands and knees, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, starting off with our 6 bird dogs, 3 on each side. Here we go. Our inhale lengthens, our exhale pulls us in. Doing 3 on that first side. When you finish those 3, go right into that 3 on the second side. Fabulous. Nicely done, you guys. When you finish that, we've got that bear to plank. So 3 times, curl those toes under, bring those knees up to float. We're gonna step back into that push-up plank position and then bring it back forward into that bear. Again, you can rest those knees with each rep, or you can float them for a little bit more of a challenge. Stepping out and back in, we've got those 3 times, and then we'll meet just briefly with those knees down on that mat to give those wrists that little bit of a reprieve. Take it back out to our plank. So step it back out nice and long. We've got our 6 shoulder taps, 3 on each side. Feel free to take those feet nice and wide. Try and keep those hips even. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. As soon as you finish those, we've got our 6 mountain climbers. Knee between those elbows. Nice work, you guys. I know this is challenging. When you finish those, downward facing dog. Press those hips up and back, give that core a little bit of a break. Whew, fabulous work. All right, let's take that pressure off of those wrists. Let's take it to our lunge series. Left foot up and back, 3-legged dog. Bend the right knee, take that left foot forward. Make that transition in a way that that you need to, so back knee can come down, because we're gonna go right into those stretches next. Back knee comes down, 1 in each direction. Our exhale presses us forward, hip flexor. Our inhale presses us backwards, hamstring, lengthen that front leg, toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale takes us back out, getting ready to come into that crescent. Again, take that analysis of your balance. Feel free to leave that back knee down for this first set if you need to. Curling the toe under and lifting if we're ready to, sweeping our arms up into crescent. Awesome, find your balance, find your long core. We've got those 3 lengthen and lowers. Inhale lengthens up. Exhale bends into it. Feel free to cactus those arms. There's 1, here comes 2, and then 3. When you finish that third, lengthen those arms. Try and keep that left knee bent, a little extra challenge. We're gonna, again, just readjust slightly so you have that left leg ready for our balance. And then we've got that knee to those elbows for 3. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Lengthening back up, counter twist. So this time right arm comes forward, left arm goes back. Again, it doesn't need to be a full twist. Just take it at whatever range you can. And then right hand comes down to the mat, left arm comes up. Take that spinal twist for just a moment. Left hand comes down to meet. Let's take it to our downward facing dog. Once again, finishing out this round with our push-ups. Here we go, float those shoulders out over those wrists. We've got 3 push-ups, toes or knees. Our exhale presses us up. When you finish those 3 push-ups, once again, just go ahead and transition right into that child's pose to Cobra. Setting those knees down, hips come back. We take it out into our Cobra. Once you've done it once in each direction, I'm gonna take a brief beverage break. So if you need a sip of your water or your coffee or whatever you have nearby, feel free to take a moment before we go back to the top and start it over again. After you've finished your sip or kept moving, once again, we're just gonna meet in that nice, easy child's pose to Cobra flow. It can always be that baby Cobra. Alrighty, awesome job, you guys. Let's go ahead and reposition and get started back from the top. So our options to take this up kind of an extra notch is to take those a little bit of a rest period out. So in between our bear to plank, You can always come back in and set those knees down for a brief break, or you can go right into our shoulder taps. And I'll kind of let you know as we go where those rests can be or where you can take them out for more intensity. Starting off with our bird dogs, let's take those 3 on each side. Here we go. Right arm and left leg, inhale, extends, exhale, pulls in. When you finish that first side, just go right onto that second side. Left arm, right leg. Fabulous. When you finish those 3 on that second side, we've got that bear to plank. Curl those toes under, lift those knees. 3 of those, stepping out nice and long, and then coming knees underneath those hips. Once again, with each one, you can set down for a second if you need to, and then take it back out. And once again, when you finish that third, feel free to set those knees down and take that break, or just step it right back and hit that plank position, wherever you need to be today based on the intensity that you're working towards. If you gave that break, take it back to plank, 6 shoulder taps. Here we go. Legs can be nice and wide, keeping those hips nice and even, trying not to shift your weight too much side to side. When you finish your 6 shoulder taps, we're taking it to those mountain climbers. So again, brief break if you need it, and then bring it up, 6, 5, keeping it going right there. As soon as you finish those, downward facing dog. Fabulous work. Lots of core work today, lots of stability work today. You guys are doing great. Let's take our 3-legged dog to our lunge for that little rest. We'll still take that stretch once in each direction on this side here. So set that knee down. Take your exhale to press forward. Take your inhale to press backwards. And then bring it back out to that nice neutral position. We're in that lunge, getting ready to take it up for our crescent. Here we go. Curl the toe under, lift that knee, sweep the arms, find your balance. We've got our 3 legs and lowers. Here we go. Lengthen up. Exhale, lower it down. 3, 2, and 1. When you get to the bottom of that third one, lengthen those arms, adjust just slightly. Knee to elbows, 3 of those. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. When you get there, lengthen that torso back up nice and long, counter twist. Left arm goes forward, right arm goes back. Again, 45 is great. Down to that mat. Left arm down, right arm up. Little stability work there with that core. Bring that right arm down to meet, downward facing dog. Right foot goes back to meet the left. Finishing out this side with our 3 push-ups. Here we go, floating those shoulders over those wrists, toes or knees. When you finish those 3 push-ups, taking it back to that child's pose to Cobra. So setting those knees down if they aren't down already. Nice and easy, back and forth. Again, if you need that extra sip in between rounds, this is a great opportunity for that. This is kind of our recovery pose. Fabulous, fabulous. Go ahead and take 1 more in each direction. After you hit that next Cobra, let's take it back to hands and knees. Keeping it moving, you guys are doing great. All righty, when you get there, we've got our bird dogs. Starting from the top once again, keeping it going, same thing. 3 on each one. Awesome work, you guys. Looking good, looking good. Love seeing all the cameras on today. When you finish those 3 on each side, we've got our bear to plank. Curl those toes under. We're stepping it back. And back in. Again, if you need that rest in between, feel free for that little rest. Knees down, knees up. Back to that plank. When you're done, again, you can take that full rest, or you can step back to that plank right away for that extra little bit of challenge. If you set those knees down, take it back to plank. We've got our shoulder tap. Feet can come a little wider. Opposite hand to opposite shoulder. 6 of those. 4, 3, 2. Nice job. After that, mountain climbers. You guys look awesome. This is tough. Keep moving with me here. 6 mountain climbers. Nice and controlled. Contract that core. After mountain climbers, we're right into that down dog. You guys look great. Take that little bit of pressure off the core. Give that little bit of a stretch back for those wrists. Nice. Let's take the pressure off those wrists. 3-legged dog to our lunge. Left leg up and back. Sweep it forward. Ankle under knee. Set that right knee down. We've got our forward stretch and then our backward stretch. Awesome. After you find that hamstring stretch, press it back to that neutral. Getting ready, finding your balance, curl the right toe under, lift up that knee, sweep it up into our crescent. Awesome. Take a second to check out that knee. Make sure it's pointing the same direction as those toes, not caving in towards the center or out away from your center line. Let's take our lengthen and lowers. Here we go. Lengthen up, down for 1. Lengthen up, down for 2. Fabulous work, fabulous work. And third one, taking it up, bringing it down. Lengthen those arms. Readjust your balance if you need to. Knee to elbow, we got 3. Use your breath to find your balance, to find that pull towards center. When you get there, nice long torso, counter twist, right arm forward, left arm backward, right arm down to the mat, left arm down to meet it, square those shoulders, left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. As always, using those transitions that work best for you. From here, we've got that push-up set. 3 more of those push-ups, toes or knees, wherever you need to be. Exhale presses you up off the mat. When you finish that out, taking that recovery, knees come down to the mat if they weren't there. Head back towards the heels, pressing it forward into Cobra. Again, I'm going to take an extra couple moments in this recovery. So if you need that sip of that beverage, take a few of those front to back, and then grab that break, grab your sip. Whew, maybe the wrists are feeling a little tired. It doesn't hurt to give them a roll or 2 here. Taking a moment to take the pressure off of them. Maybe the core is a little tired, so maybe it's a nice big lateral stretch or a spinal twist. All right, you guys are doing awesome. Looking great. We're coming on our 30-minute mark here, so we've got about 10 more minutes in class, which means we've got about 6 more minutes of work. So we're gonna aim for 1 more time on each side here. So sticking with me, hitting that last time in each direction, and then we'll cool it down a little bit. So if you're ready to take your challenge up at all for any of these movements, here's a perfect opportunity because it's our last time through for each side. So when you finish your sip, when you finish your range of motion, let's take a moment, find that Cobra to child's pose once again. Fabulous. Take it 1 more time in each direction. And after that last Cobra or baby Cobra, go ahead and bring it to our hands and knees. When you get to hands and knees, let's take it right into those bird dogs. We got 3 on each side. If you want to up that challenge, you can take it to a bear bird dog where we've got those knees floating. We're going to take it, extend, and then set down and switch. If you don't want that extra challenge or that extra pressure on the wrist, keep it right where you were with both of those knees down. When you finish that 3 on that first side, taking it to that second side. Again, that bear is only for that super extra challenge. If you're really looking for more, from here, we've got our bear to plank. Curl those toes under, getting ready 3 times total, pressing back into our plank, and then pulling it back into that bear. 3 of those. When you finish, take your break with the knees down, and then press it back into that plank. So once again, if you need that break, we're right here. If you're ready to, take it right back to our plank. If you took that break, press it back, meet us here for our shoulder taps. We've got 6, here we go, 6, 4, 3, nice. Looking stable, you guys look awesome. When you finish those mountain climbers, 6 total, pull the knees in towards the elbows. Mountain climbers to downward facing dog, take the pressure off of that core. Awesome work, you guys. Right foot up and back, 3-legged dog. Bend the left knee, sweep it forward. Let's find 1 stretch in each direction. Still set that knee down, take that exhale forward. Take that inhale backward. Take it to that neutral. Let's take it for our lower body work. Turn that left toe under, lift the knee. Find your crescent, sweep the arms up. Awesome, let's find that lengthen to lower. Lengthen up nice and long. Exhale to pull it down. There's 1, take it for 2, and 3. When you finish that third, sink into that right knee, find that nice deep bend, lengthen those arms, readjust your balance if you need to, hinge a little bit forward, 3 knees to elbows. Use your breath there. When you finish that, lengthen that torso once again, counter twist, left arm forward, right arm back, left hand comes down to the mat for that lunge spinal twist, right hand comes down to meet it, downward facing dog, little break. Right foot goes back to meet the left, and then we've got our 3 push-ups here, floating those shoulders out over those wrists, toes or knees, 3 push-ups. Our exhale presses us up off that mat. Try and find that full range of motion. So use the modification that you need to get that chest down. When you finish, if those knees aren't down, set them down, find that child's pose to Cobra, our second to last time with this recovery. Looking great, you guys. All right, awesome. One more time in each direction. After that next Cobra or baby Cobra, taking it back to our hands and knees. We've got our final time through. This is it, you guys. Whew. All right, here we go. Let's take it for those bird dogs. Again, you can find that floating one if you want that super extra challenge, or keep those knees down and find those 3 on each side. First side leads us right into our second side. Second side leads us right into those bear to planks. So floating those knees up, stepping it back into that plank, stepping it forward into that bear. We've got 3 of those. Once again, feel free to take that recovery after that third one if you'd like to, or for that extra challenge, step it right back into that plank. If you took that recovery, go ahead and meet us in that plank. Let's take our 6 shoulder taps. Here we go. Last time on these shoulder taps. You guys got this. I know we're tired. Keep working with me here. When you finish your 6 shoulder taps, take it to those mountain climbers. Mountain climbers next. Whew. You guys got this. Mountain climbers to downward facing dog. Whew, little break for those wrists, for those cores. Awesome work. Let's hit that lower body last time. Left foot, 3-legged dog, up and back, nice and long. Bend the right knee. Feel free to take it to that mat if you need to. Left foot forward. 1 stretch each direction. Right knee comes down. Exhale presses us forward. Inhale presses us backwards. Exhale takes us back out to that nice neutral. Getting ready for that last lengthen and lower. Curling the right toe under, lifting the knee. As always, you can leave it down if you'd prefer for that balance. Taking it up to that crescent or that high lunge, lengthening that front leg. Exhale to press down into it. Cactus those arms. There's 1, 2, and 3. When you get to the bottom of that, nice deep bend in that left knee. Lengthen those arms. Readjust that balance. Knee to elbows. 3 of those. Here we go. Awesome work, you guys. When you finish those 3, torso up nice and tall. Counter twist, last time. Right arm forward, left arm back. Right arm down to that mat, left arm up. Nice, bring the left arm down to meet the right. Downward facing dog. Final set of push-ups. Here we go. Shoulders come out over those wrists, toes or knees, 3 push-ups. This is it, last 3. 2, 1, taking it right into that child's pose to Cobra, our final time. A couple times each direction here, nice big stretch. Whew. Nice. Awesome work today, you guys. Lots of hard work. We've got a little time to cool down here. Great. Take that child's pose to Cobra one more time in each direction. Hips back towards the heels. One more time into that Cobra. And then I want you to sink back into that child's pose one final time here. We're going to use that to take it into our spinal twist. So if you'd like to bring it into puppy instead of child's pose, you can keep the hips high and find a little bit of a chest stretch. If you want to sink those hips back a little bit further, feel free to. All right, we're gonna take this into that spinal twist. So I want you to lift those hips just slightly up over those knees. Take that right arm, thread it underneath and through. Place that right shoulder down onto that mat. Left arm can stay out nice and long here. You can pull it in for a little more support, or to increase the intensity of this spinal twist, you can take that left arm towards the ceiling. Point that palm around to face behind the back, and then bend at the elbow to bring it around, almost to grab that opposite thigh. Nice little bit of an extra stretch, a little shoulder opening. If you found that half bind, go ahead and lengthen that arm back out long. We're just going to switch sides. Everyone put a little pressure into that left arm. Take that right arm back out long at center, and then take that left arm through, placing the left shoulder down onto that mat. Once again, the right arm can stay out long. You can pull it in for a little more support, or to intensify, right arm towards the ceiling, palm faces behind the back, bend at the elbow to bring it around. Awesome. If you found that half bind, go ahead, lengthen that arm, take it back out long. Just taking it right back to center here. Taking those arms out long, pressing the chest towards the floor, keeping those hips high. Let's sit back towards the heels. And let's roll it on around to our comfortable seated position. So setting that hip down to the side, bringing those legs around. Again, comfortable seated as always. You can take them out long. You can pull it in. We're going to finish with 3 nice easy ranges of motion. We're going to start off with some shoulder rolls because they did a lot of hard work for us today. So pulling them up towards the ears and then down and back. Fabulous. One more roll in this direction, and then go ahead and switch it up. Go up towards the ears and then towards the front. If while you're doing this it feels good and you have the coordination to do both, maybe you take a couple rolls of the wrist. Next, exhale, releases those shoulders low away from the ears. Let's take it to a lateral stretch. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, right hand down to the mat, left arm up over top. We're just going to do twice in each direction. Our inhale pulls us through center. Exhale, second side. Inhale through center. Exhale, first side. Ooh. Last time, inhale pulls us through center, down to that second side. And then we're going to finish our practice here. Inhale takes us nice and long through center. Pull those palms together, bring them down to heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I appreciate you being here. Delight in me honors, delight in you. Bowing as we say namaste. Whew. All right, great work, you guys. That was a very challenging practice. You guys killed it. Whew.